20 years ago, I dreamed of having my own farming business. But back then, all I had was my old truck. It was a Ford F-150, but only had a two-wheel drive. I would have loved a four-wheel drive, but I just couldn't afford one. And in a strange way, that's how Vala's got started. I knew I wanted a U-pick strawberry business, and I didn't need a ton of land, but driving around the country roads and everything in my truck, searching for land, I went all over Omaha, Council Bluffs, down in Plattsmouth, up in Bennington. I'd kind of just drive around and look at the different farms and just try to visualize how this would work. What was tough was I didn't have a lot of money. That just made it harder. If I thought there was a place I kind of liked, I'd stop, knock on the door, and ask them if they were thinking about selling or not. And most of the farmers' response was no. I had to find just the right person at the right time. I really liked the Gretna area, and I was very fortunate to find a small farm that belonged to John and Irma Lamprecht. They had 5 kids living in that little house, but they were able to make a living off the land, being self-sufficient.
Well, we'd usually get up at 6.
John sold crop insurance. He also sold eggs, and he harvested corn.
Here's Dad, October 24th, 1989.
Yeah, this is my favorite picture of John, actually. It's just him hard at work. You can see all the dust and grease on his face, and he's happy. I think he's happy that he's working.
That is right. And then that ground corn would be what you feed to the cows.
And it was twice a day for like 30 years. They went down to the dairy barn, which is now our harvest barn, and milked cows.
We had 2 milking machines, You had to do everything by hand. No matter what the weather was, you always had to milk in the morning and at night.
Do you remember the first time you met me?
It was a new experience.
I came up here to the house, and you answered the door because John was selling something. There was 3 or 4 pickup trucks in the driveway.
He liked to sell stuff.
And I kind of told you what I was doing a little bit.
And he had ideas of what he wanted to accomplish.
And you said, well, I don't think we would be interested or anything, so.
That's how we met.
That's how we met, yeah.
And it was so country that he just thought nobody would come.
Remember how I got stuck in your driveway? Because it rained like the night before or something like that. But because there was some other pickups that were parked in front of your house, I parked on the far end. So everything was a little bit muddy. And I only had a 2-wheel drive pickup truck, which is kind of unheard of now.
Oh, definitely. Well, it was just mud.
Right, and that's how I talked to John.
Oh, okay.
He told me how to turn my steering wheel and back up, pull forward, turn it this way now, and I wasn't stuck anymore. And then I kind of repeated my story about, I thought about maybe you guys would sell some acres, and we kind of settled a deal where I could rent it with the option to buy. Sometimes I think I'm credited for almost too much, but you and John were a big part of our success.
Well, Mom has always said the Valas are just like family.
Yeah.
To have a friendship over 40 years now is really special. Obviously, we wouldn't even have the land if it wasn't for you guys, but more than that, just the encouragement and the help you gave me along the way. It took a lot of people to be where we are now.
Definitely.
And John and Irma was almost like another mom and dad, I kind of think of them that way. And they think of me as probably like another son and daughter, with Jan, but a special relationship. touring the farm with Irma, it's one of the highlights of my fall, and it's kind of fun just to take her around and show her all the new stuff that we've added.
I'm amazed.
Some of it looks somewhat similar, and there's things that have changed a lot. Well, this tree wasn't here at the time, but they sold eggs, and someone came out to buy some eggs and forgot to put it in park, and the car rolled and hit the side of the chicken coop there. The worst thing was, and John was really not too happy about it, was that it took about 2 weeks before they would lay eggs again. But she's always very positive, and I think that's one of the reasons why I love taking her around.
Well, it's something you'll never forget, and every time they come, they learn something different.
Oh, absolutely. All of us come. Our kids love it. Our grandkids are amazed. We really can't do it all in one day because there's so much to see and do.
And it's really neat that they can bring them out to the farm and they can say, this was Grandma and Grandpa's farm, and this is where I grew up. Haunted house is where I used to live, and there's a lot of satisfaction in that. And I think that makes them happy that their old farm is a place for a lot of happiness.
Well, no matter where you go, they'll say, well, where'd you come from? And I'll say, well, our farm is Bella's Pumpkin Patch.